one comparison I made to Nick, not that Nick would know because he hasn't played them, but Kingdom Hearts, like if you've ever played Kingdom Hearts.
I know what Kingdom Hearts is.
No, I know you know what it is, but I don't know.
You got Mickey Mouse and you're slapping butts with Final Fantasy characters.
Slapping butts with Final Fantasy characters. I'm just saying, like, in terms of... Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Anime Summit Podcast, where we argue about penguins, how to pronounce the word lolly, and tight stomachs. I'm Sam the Bomb, of course, okay? And with me is... Oh, crap. I didn't prepare a nickname for you. Nick Van Gellion. We'll just say Nick Van Gellion again.
Nick Van Dyke. No.
Yeah, Nick
Let me say my catchphrase for this episode. Seizon Senraku. All right, I'm done.
Sounds way better in the sub.
Yeah, I'm not a petite Japanese girl. I'm a petite white boy. So
Petite white boy.
best we got.
You heard Nick. Later in the episode, we're going to talk about Mawaru Penguindrum, or Silver Penguindrum. This is another decade spotlight, the second half of 2011. Pretty hype. Next month is going to be 2012. Getting up there, dude. We're gonna start making some comparisons here soon, because now we've got through 2010, getting through 2011. And
You still got a lot of shows to watch from not Spotlight that I got to make you watch.
I know.
And me too. There's a lot.
You know,
But look, if you watch a couple episodes a day, you'll catch up quick.
this season, this like the spring season that's starting right now, might be a little bleak. So maybe I'll have time to like watch more backlogs up.
Yeah. No, I
don't
mean,
know.
think about it though. If you watch 2 episodes a day, that's over 700 episodes right there.
That's
That
like-
is a lot.
Yeah,
That's almost 70 shows.
I might
like-
try that starting this weekend.
That's less than an hour. That's pretty easy. You watch while you're taking a shit, while you're making food, maybe both at the same time.
Both at the same
you
time,
know,
dude. You cook
multitask.
while you poop?
Yeah, my toilet sink.
Sheesh. Anyway, I feel
You would get that if you watched The League.
The God, Nick and his like obscure references are just like sports. Is that a sports reference?
Yeah, it's a fantasy football TV show. I didn't finish it, but the first few seasons were funny.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about Silver Penguindrum. This decade spotlight. The way we're doing it is we're covering 2 shows in the year, starting from 2010, going up to 2014, right? Because 2015 is.
We got one in 2015.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because 2015 is when we started being a podcast. So every month you'll get a decade.
Yeah, we
spotlight.
didn't start seasonals until I think summer 2015. Like, not at least not fully seasonal.
Right. Yeah, that's right. So this is the second part of 2011. Our second one for 2011 for the month of April. Silver Penguindrum. Okay, so this show is crazy. It was very crazy. Another work by Kunihiko Ikuhara. He did Utena, and
Yeah, Revolutionary Girl Utena.
he did Lesbian Bear Storm. Yuri Kuma.
He's doing the currently airing Sarazenmai. Cannot pronounce that correctly, but
which a
you
lot
have to
of
bear with us.
shout out to Sen. They are saying that that's going to be their anime of the season.
Well, dude, any season with Ikuhara, you got to put that shit up there on the podium, Because he only does a show every few years, right? So
yeah, like he's not
special.
There was
Part
a
of
time
it is
in his-
because his ideas are all originals, and it's like he wants to do crazy shit.
right, and there was a time in his career where he thought he wasn't going to do anymore. Like people didn't want to
Yeah,
hire him for
I
stuff.
think
too.
there was a really big gap. So like originally he started working at Toei, I believe, and he was doing like Sailor Moon. He was working with them on that, and then he at some point, or 1997, he released Revolutionary Girl Utena, which most people would say is his best work, which is like a kind of a magical girl, fairy tale, subversive, super dense symbolism show. I didn't do a very good job describing it, but there's a lot of people who've reviewed that already. Anime News Network has a big, written up review section of it. You can look up reviews. People have written like theses on Utena by
Right.
itself.
It's one of those shows.
Yeah, it's like hashtag too deep for you.
Well,
literally.
I mean, even with Penguindrum, we came across a couple of those too. So
Yeah, Penguindrum was in a somewhat similar vein, although it's a shorter series than Utena. And yeah, he took like a 14-year gap between them. I think part of the reason is just like getting his stuff accepted by like producers and studios, and getting enough workers to help create his visions is kind of tough.
Well, when we were doing research on this too, I came across a couple of like anime forums, even like the Anime News Network ones and the Crunchyroll forums. Back in 2000, these were posts back in 2011 of people just getting hype for Penguindrum because they were like, "Oh my god, it's another Ikuhara show, discussion theories, this, that, and all this stuff," and they were excited for it. Like I can imagine, that being with whoever your favorite creator is, probably how I am right now with the fourth Ava movie or things like that. So
yeah.
It was cool to see people excited about it because they were like, "Oh my god, it's another Ikuhara show." But yeah, so later that's what we're going to talk about. Until then, we're going to take a quick break right here and then we'll be right back. Okay, hell yeah, check that out for me, okay? And then also, links.animesummit.net, you can find everything right there. You can add us on Twitter, Instagram. Go to youtube.com/Anime Summit, hit the subscribe button, and subscribe to Anime Summit Extra. And more importantly, we're pretty much mostly I'm kind of liking, I'm on Discord all the time. Me and Nick are on there all the time. We're mostly there. So if you want to talk to us, that's the best way to do it for sure. Because I'm not on Twitter that much anymore. And the Discord you can find in the YouTube description. You can find it at links.animesummit.net, and you can find it in the Twitter description as well. Or the Twitter bio. So there you go. Go on Discord, would you? Talk to me there, because I love talking to people. I love talking to y'all. Shout out to the Discord right now.
Just don't at everyone.
Yeah,
we'll post the ping emoji.
Right. The ping.
Only I'm allowed to do at everyone.
The ping emoji. Yeah. The ping. That's got the little red one. Look,
if you want to post Arthur fists, join our Discord.
Yeah, Arthur.
We got
Fist.
Arthur fist.
We have Arthur Fist emoji, so if you're getting mad about something, this anime sucks, Arthur Fist. But
we got Pepe hands, we got Yuri glasses, classics.
I
love the Yuri glasses one. That's great.
The Yuri glasses one is good. Okay, here we go. Mawaru Penguindrum, 2011. A Waifu and Husbando.
Did you call it Silver Penguindrum when you first started?
Isn't that what it's called?
I've never heard it called Silver Penguindrum. I just had to call that out just now. I just realized that.
What am I
think most
of?
people just say Penguindrum.
I have no idea. Oh, wait. Spinning Penguindrum. That's what
Either
Mawaru
way,
Penguindrum said.
Nobody calls it that.
No, nobody
That's
calls
not
it
the
that.
preferred nomenclature.
People just call it Penguindrum.
It's Penguindrum. Or if you're a hyper fan, you'd be like, actually, Yuri glasses, Mawaru Penguindrum.
Well, actually, my name is Nick, and I like to...
Actually, it's Puella Magi Budoka Magica.
Dakabajaga. Yeah, dude. Waifu and Husbando.
Penguindrum, though. Yep, the Waifu and Husbando.
The waifu is Himari, the main character. Pretty much the character.
The dying girl trope.
The dying girl trope. Pretty much the character that the anime centers around for the most part. And for Husbando, her quote-unquote brother, Shouma Takakura. Himari Takakura and Shouma Takakura. When we get into the spoiler sections, you'll realize it's not incest. I promise you, it's not.
That's kind of a spoiler right there, isn't it?
Sorry. Bleep that out.
Not really.
When we get to the spoiler section, we're going to I'm going to insert the Wilhelm scream right there. So when you hear the Wilhelm scream, that's where the spoilers start.
We need to get the Princess Bride Pit of Despair scream, where he's like, ah!
Oh,
I can't even imitate it.
Link that to me later, would you? We'll find that, or we'll just have different noises every episode.
Yeah, we can just use different noises,
or whatever. Here we go. Let's do it.
Ideally, we get a soundboard. We could just do it live.
Do it live. We'll just do it live. Yeah, no, we need to find a way to do that. Someone call Mac. Anyway, here we go. I'm going to summarize this real quick. Some background information. Directed by...
I was going to summarize it.
Oh, never mind. Sorry. I was going to give the...
No, you can go ahead.
I was going to give the staff
You're going
info.
You're going against the worksheet,
I'm
son.
sorry.
Come on.
I'll give the staff info and then you can summarize it. But it's directed by Kunihiko Ikuhara. Okay, and we already kind of went through his background a little bit earlier. But very famous guy, very creative, very out there stuff. Studio Brains Base. They also did Durara, Bacano, Oregairo, Spice Wolf 2, Natsume Yuchinjo.
I listed a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
they
a
did
lot of
Princess
stuff.
Jellyfish. We covered that one.
Yeah, we did cover that
And
one.
Bacano.
And when we used to do show swaps. Licensed by Sentai Filmworks for the dub. The dub was okay. I mean, we can talk about that later. Probably not. I watched it.
Yeah,
in
the
sub.
brothers didn't sound right to me.
Yeah, I watched it in sub because the dub was just like, yeah.
And actually, weirdly enough, in the sub, when they had the younger kid brother, that didn't sound right to me either, even in the Japanese. I was like, wait, they just had the same guy do it.
Right.
It's like, you sound like you're 20, but you're like 10.
You sound the same. You can actually find this on High Dive and VRV, which I did not know until Nick told it to me. But yeah, it's streaming currently on High Dive and VRV. So if you got that, I know a couple people on our Discord have both of those.
Yeah, VRV and High Dive are pretty good deals.
I know. I'm kind of wondering
There's
if
a lot of good stuff on those.
I'm kind of wondering if I should try one of those.
Really, the only one that I would be questionable about is Funimation, just because like they're going through some flux right now. So
Right.
I don't know. That's just me personally.
Right.
Please sponsor us, Funimation.
Please, Funimation. You can find physical releases on Amazon, Blu-ray DVD collection or Blu-ray disc collection, 1 and 2 available on Amazon for $30 each. You can probably find it on Right Stuff or
Yeah,
Sentai
if
sale.
there's they have the Sentai sales a couple of times a year. And those are really big sales. Like they had like 75% off sale at one point.
Oh yeah.
Right Stuff has sales going on. So check that out. It's usually on there at some point during the year. But I mean, even $30, $60 total for 26 episodes or 24 episodes. That's not too bad. That's like somewhat reasonable.
Also, too, like I said on my last newscast that I was going to try and shout out the current weekend's Right Stuff sale. Just so you guys, because you guys listen to my newscast Saturday morning, so that way, if it's payday, if you got paid on Friday, just got paid.
Dude, that reminds me,
Friday
I need
night.
to stop my Tokyo Otaku Mode subscription. Apparently, I accidentally signed up for it. So, like, every quarter, they're like, you're resubscribed to Otaku Mode for $15. I'm like, shit.
Whoops.
I mean, it helped me buy some Nendoroids, but it's like, man, I don't need to buy them that often. So,
Right.
I think I have like $100 in credit from them. It's crazy. I can just like get something.
You should get a Nendo. Speaking of which, I actually have had a Ringo figure for a long time, but I did not know where it was from until I watched this anime. I was like, oh, because the box is weird. Like the box doesn't say. Like I'll show you the box later. It's fucking weird. But yeah, I have a figure of Ringo on my merch collection. But that being said, I'll give it to Nick to summarize this. Mawaru Penguindrum.
Okay, so cards on the table. I am a little bit fuzzy on some of the plot details to Penguindrum. That's to be expected on the first viewing of the show because it's really dense and like busy with a lot of imagery, a lot of different plot threads and elements going through and characters.
Mm-hmm.
So this show, like before we even start, it does benefit from a rewatch, and like you have to put in like your full focus to watch it. And honestly, I didn't give it like a fair shake, if I'm being totally honest. Like I wasn't 100% dialed in. So I'll be a tiny bit shaky. I might miss a detail here or there, but the basic premise in the early going of Penguindrum is the two brothers, Shouma and Kanba, are visiting the aquarium with their sister Himari, and she is terminally ill, so they're taking her to the aquarium to have like a good time, right? So they get a penguin hat, and she collapses at the aquarium. In the hospital, she dies, comes back to life with the penguin hat on, and is speaking in like a different voice. And she tells them that in order to extend her life, they must find the Penguindrum. And the Penguindrum, basically, they discover later it's kind of like a Harry Potter Horcrux. it's like the Chamber of Secrets, like Tom Riddle's diary almost. It ends up being Ringo's diary, who's like a schoolmate of theirs, and so they have to find Ringo and get her diary.
Well, they think it's in the beginning, like in episode 2.
Yeah,
they think it's her
they think it is. See, exactly. I'm missing like tiny little details like that. And that's like the basic gist of it. Like they're trying to exchange fate to to prolong and save Himari. And that's the very basic plot, but there's a lot of other character concerns that go on as well, like Ringo, her sister. There's this like ghost character guy. What's his name again? He's
Sanetoshi.
Yeah, he's kind of just like a spirit type person, and
I call him Sanitation.
Sanitation. He's the janitor.
He's the janitor.
In any case, yeah. So then the reason it's called Penguindrum is these penguins are mailed to them mysteriously, and the penguins are kind of like mascot characters or avatars or demons that are attached to their respective owner or person. They're like a pet type kind of thing, but nobody else can see them except for the owners and whoever else has penguins. Actually, I'm not sure they can see each other's penguins. I think they can. They can see each other's penguins, right?
Shouma, they can see each other's. Yeah. So like if you owned a set of them and I owned one, I could see yours.
Yeah, but nobody else can see them. And like the penguins are like the source of comedy in this show. And the show never gets like too dark with it, because it does get pretty dark, especially later on, like at the midway point and forward. It gets pretty dark. Oh, I mean, I guess even episode 1, if you think about it. So the penguins do provide that levity, which is nice. But some people might argue, oh, the penguins are, it's a little too goofy during a serious scene. They're reading like porn magazines and stuff, and it's like, why do they need to do that? Why is this octopus spraying ink on them in the background? What does that mean? It might just be funny, right? So part of that is that Kunihiko Ikuhara, he cut his chops on Sailor Moon, and Junichi Sato is like the master of like, light comedy mixed with more serious themes, right? With like Sailor Moon, you got Aria, you got all this stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's like Ikuhara wants to add some lightheartedness to his shows, even if it's dark, and that's also present in Utena as well, and all of his shows really. So there's some comedy in there, and I kind of like that. You just gotta dole it out carefully, and not like, you don't want to go full kill like Mako, where she just interrupts everything.
Hallelujah. Yeah.
Although that show's more of a comedy than anything, but yeah, I mean, Penguindrum is definitely a very serious show. It deals with like fate. It deals with family elements. What else we got?
There's so many themes. There's
destiny, karma,
destiny, fate, changing fate, the cost of changing fate, paying for debts that were not taken out by you, but by somebody connected to you. It's like,
oh yeah, like the brothers and their parents.
Yeah,
I think there's like some dark themes to that. See, that's one of those things that's one of the details that I'm fuzzy on, because I was watching the show while multitasking at times. Bad idea. Don't do that. Mm-hmm. This is a
especially for a show like this,
complex show. Yeah. So yeah.
But I think there's Kunihiko Ikuhara. He
let's just call him Ikuhara. That's easier.
Yeah, for sure. Ikuhara-san. He like put so many like shout outs and homages to other anime like Sailor Moon and Utena and all that. And then he also injected all these crazy themes to tell this big, just huge moral. And
yeah, it's like a modern fairy tale type of thing.
That's a perfect way to say it. But like the hat, right? The penguin hat that possesses Himari, the being in the hat, you don't find out who it is till later. But when the hat possesses Himari and summons a meeting with the two brothers, it goes into like this whole transformation sequence, and she dons this penguin outfit with the hat, and it goes into like this surreal world.
Yeah, that was the catchphrase I shouted at the beginning.
Yeah. Survival strategy meeting.
Yeah, initiate survival strategy.
Yeah. And they go into this meeting, and then one of as she's like coming down the escalator thing to go in front of the two brothers, Kanba and Shouma, little pieces of her outfit disappear each at a time till she's just, by the end of it, she's just like in a swimsuit with the hat.
She gets naked at a certain point.
Oh yeah. There's a couple times where she gets naked. Nick's favorite part. But like,
definitely, dude. See that side butt?
There's a couple times where you can see it, like she'll jump forward with her arms forward and her legs back, and that's like the exact pose that Sailor Moon does, like when her leotard's coming on. It's just like really cool. I noticed those right away, which was super sick. But yeah, the transformation sequence and that survival strategy sequence is just like a spectacle in its own. Like, I fucking love it.
Yeah, well, the transformation sequences are always the best animated parts of the show because they only have to do it once, right? So they might as well make it good.
Right.
And it saves them time in future episodes. They can just repeat it.
Right.
So that and like the opening and ending and transformation sequences are usually the best animated parts, and some battles. But yeah,
so
the show isn't really battle themed.
So from the first episode on, that's when things start taking off. And then like the second episode, they introduce Ringo, who she goes to high school with Shouma and Kanba. And she's got this diary, and they have a reason to believe that that diary might be the Penguindrum. So they kind of start following her. Well, actually, they make their little penguins follow her, which is hilarious. Like, they use like a camera.
God, the penguin antics are so funny. Like,
dude, yeah,
one of the first scenes is like, it's like killing cockroaches with spray. She's like,
yeah, so it pulls out a bug spray can and real quick. They look doofusy, you know. They're goofy as fuck.
Well, they're really cute. Like,
yeah,
I want
like,
a plushie of the penguins.
If any of you guys have played Disgaea, they're like the Prinnies in Disgaea. Like, they're just servant penguins. They look goofy.
They're perfect merchandise.
There's perfect merch. Like, in fact, one of the articles.
That's probably how he got the show made.
One of the articles with Ikuhara interview. The picture of him is like him holding like a plush penguin from the show, and it's like really funny.
Yeah, they're almost like Totoro a little bit.
Dude, yeah, it's totally on that level of merch. It totally is what it is, like, for real. But yeah, Penguindrum, dude. I mean, it starts unfolding. Every episode unfolds a new. There's even some episodes that end on kind of not. I wouldn't say a cliffhanger, but like like another detail they just revealed, you know. And as it starts unfolding, they start introducing more characters and more characters. And at first, it's a little overwhelming. There's all these themes to keep in mind, right? Like, who's the penguin hat? Is the penguin hat a person, or is it literally just a hat that's sentient? Or why are they introducing this character here? And why do I care? You know what I mean? And at first, I was like, kind of like, oh man, I bet you I'm not gonna care about this character in like 3 episodes, right? But no, even by halfway through, you know all these characters, and they're all connected somehow. Like, one comparison I made to Nick when we were doing our research, we got on Discord voice and we were researching stuff. One comparison I made to Nick, not that Nick would know because he hasn't played them, but Kingdom Hearts, like, if you've ever played Kingdom Hearts.
I know what Kingdom Hearts is.
No, I know you know what it is, but I don't know.
You got Mickey Mouse and you're slapping butts with Final Fantasy characters. And
slapping
stuff, right?
butts with Final Fantasy characters. I'm just saying, like, in terms of playing it, there's so much. Kingdom Hearts is kind of a bad example because it's like it kind of like.
Who's the guy who created that? Isn't the guy who created that like insane?
Tetsuya Nomura? No, he's not insane.
Yeah, Nomura. I heard he's like nuts.
He just
you
like
kind of have to be to make something like that, though.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a little convoluted to a fault.
But yeah, like exactly, like the plot doesn't make any fucking sense.
It doesn't make sense in a lot of stuff.
It's like a Rocky and JoJo. It's like just shut up.
I can only
just let it happen.
But it's overwhelming, right? To someone who has never played any of the series, I can bet you 100% though. Like, I put $1 million on it. If Ikuhara wrote the screenplay for Kingdom Hearts, oh man, I can only imagine how much more clean and awesome that would be. But anyway, I make that comparison because like it seems overwhelming. You get to episode 5 or 6, and it just seems like, okay, now we got Masako and Tabuki, Asami. This girl gets pushed down an elevator, and Masako is revealed to have like this gun, and this gun shoots these balls, and if she shoots a red ball at your head, you lose memories. If she shoots a blue one at your head, you gain memories.
I think she shot the red ball at my head because I forgot a lot of this.
Because I forgot a lot of shit. But then,
dude, I really got to rewatch it.
I'm gonna rewatch it too at some point. But she's like obsessed with Kanba, one of the brothers, you know, and you don't know why, and then you just want to like. It's weird too because some of like the middle of the episodes, a lot of them were boring. Like, I was just like, man, so much talking, so much exposition. Which I wouldn't say so much exposition, but like, I wish it would just had gone a little further, like, or hurried along a little more, rather than.
Yeah, there were a few episodes that were like, it just didn't feel like. Well, it felt like a lot happened, but it didn't have enough of a hook in a few of the episodes in the middle.
That's
I would say
a way better way to say it. That's the best way to say it, I think. But yeah, it just like it because of that, I couldn't remember or focus on what I was being overwhelmed with at some points. But there was a couple times where like I had to, because I was a dummy and watched it on my iPad in bed before bed, and I fell asleep, so I had to rewatch it, and I was like, oh, I don't remember that part happening. Like
you were what do you call that when you're sleep learning?
Sleep learning, dude.
It's like
can't do that when you review
image
anime.
training.
Yeah, you can't do it.
You're gonna learn Spanish
Learn
while
Spanish,
you're sleeping.
dude. While I'm
or no, you'll be like Dexter. Omelette du fromage.
I want to do fromage. He had an accent, but none of his family did. But like, no, you know what, dude? After you get to like, it's weird because after you get to like episode 12 and 13, that's when it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I think episode 9 is a big turning point as well, somewhere in there.
Yeah, that's when
correctly.
that's when they introduce sanitation, Sanatoshi.
God, I really got to rewatch this.
I call him sanitation because it's funny.
Sanitation.
Yeah, sanitation. But episode 9 is like, and also too, what's really cool in the way the show is presented. I should bring this up right now because this is actually a big part of the show. Is there's these little transitions when they're going from one part of the city to another. They put this little like in between slide with some typography and graphics, going from like Shinjuku Station to another place. When they went to the aquarium, it did that too. It was like ding, or whatever. And
yeah,
then,
the train symbolism is pretty heavy here.
Yeah, which I realized was important later because that actually foreshadows a lot. Also, when there's a flashback, it does that same typography and kind of in between slide. It's like this white background with a black box and white text in the black box with some red blocks next to it. It's a really cool graphic. And when a flashback happens, it goes flashback, ding, and episode 9, as Nick mentioned, is a flashback episode where Himari remembers stuff when she was younger, and it often does these flashbacks in a very cool way because it's not like every fucking shonen out there or Naruto where it's just like it's got the white gradient around the border and it's all fuzzy, and it's like when I was a kid I trained in taijutsu, and so whatever. But anyway, it's relevant to the thing you're watching at that point. So you didn't feel like you were wasting your time watching a flashback, which I appreciate because at first I felt like I was going to get annoyed with it, but not at all, especially when it's revealing important details, which it did every time for the most part.
Yeah, and the trains also had the advertisements of 2 other characters in the show, Himari's friends, who made up an idol group.
Yeah.
Triple H. Well, it was supposed to be Triple H, but without Himari, it's Double H. So,
yeah, they changed it to Double H later. Yeah,
I was like,
Himari
wait,
got
why do they
sick.
like that wrestler so much? Isn't there a wrestler called Triple H?
Yeah, Triple H.
I'm like, damn, they're really obsessed with wrestling.
Married to Stephanie McMahon. No, yeah, because it's Himari, Hikari, and I forgot the
And
third
Triple
one.
H does the ending themes to the episodes.
Yeah, they do all
like,
of them.
To many of them. Yeah, all of them? Yeah.
Which I didn't know. I thought they only did a couple of them.
Some of them are really good. There's some bangers in there. But
Some bangers.
yeah, what was the deal with that plot thread with her friends? It's like she wanted to be an idol, but she didn't think she was good enough or something. Like,
Well, she got sick.
I know she got sick for sure, and like she wanted. Oh no, she was like rooting for her friends no matter what, and they like always remembered her.
Yeah.
Like the basic gist of it.
Yep.
So I'm wondering why were the those advertisements in the train? And like the other thing with the train too is like trains are very symbolic of like dreaming, and it's like your mental problems like and burdens that you're carrying. It's kind of like a journey symbol.
Mm-hmm.
And trains are using a lot of anime. It's like Spirited Away, even Galena's Trains. Like it's all kind of like a inner psychological thing. So it's like, wait, were they actually on a train or was this like in their head? Because at first you're watching it and you're like, oh, they're on a train going to school or whatever. It's like, are they?
Yeah.
So I'm just asking you actually, like, what's the deal with the idol group?
Well, other than them providing the music, like for the endings and stuff, I know that like Oh, it's Hibari. That's the other one. Hibari and Hikari. I know that Hikari.
Oh, that's convenient. They all have the same name.
Yeah, yeah. Hibari, Hikari, and Himari. I know that Hikari, her name is Hikaru Utada, and that's the thinly veiled name of Hikaru Utada, who's the singer of Kingdom Hearts themes and famous J-pop singer in Japan for many, 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 many years. She's basically the Beyonce of Japan. Yeah, I fucking said it. And Hibari Yasora is also thinly veiled reference to Hibari Misora, who they all sing in Triple H or for Triple H. Or, well, not Hibari Misora and Hikaru Utada, but the voice actresses of the characters sing. Other than that, it basically, they just kind of fill that purpose of what you said. They're featured on the advertisements on the Tokyo Sky Metro trains, and they kind of, they represent that theme of them, of being left behind, like, it's
like people who were left, people who cared about her.
Like, you know, if I quit this podcast and you and Danny kept going, it would be shitty of me not to root for you.
Yeah, you'd be on the train, dude. Or wait. We would be on your train.
You'd be on, yeah. Yeah, and it'd be shitty not to root for you. But it also, like, it's valid.
My penguin would be reading a porn magazine, by the way.
It'd be valid for me to feel left behind, you know, like, because I would. Even though it was something in my control or out of my control that kept me from going on. In this case, it was out of Himari's control because she got sick and she had to leave school.
Well, maybe if she tried harder, she wouldn't have got sick.
You know, maybe if you just like lived your life right. Like,
that's the real theme of Penguindrum. Just flex it out, you know?
Fucking, they don't let people who are sick like that into McDonald's. Okay, so no McDonald's. You don't get McDonald's today. But yeah, no, I think that's another. It also goes with, like, the abandonment theme. Because the Takakura's parents, you know, Kanba, Shouma, and Himari's parents, doing what they did, they left them behind. And it's another...
Okay, so let's clarify the parent involvement, because the parents never showed up in the anime.
You
and
never see them except for pictures, yeah. Yeah.
Well, because they're dead, right?
A part of them show up. I don't want to say until
Are they working? I'm just asking. I don't know. I'm really fuzzy on some of these details because I was not 100%.
We about to spoil, but like an episode.
Oh yeah, spoiler alert.
In you want to do them right now? You want to put the spoiler thing right now? Wilhelm scream right now.
We've been like kind of spoiling, but whatever.
You want me to put in the Wilhelm scream?
Sure, whatever.
All right.
I don't know how a Wilhelm scream. How does a Wilhelm scream represent spoilers though?
I have no idea. Maybe I'll put Admiral Akbar. It's a trap. It's a trap.
We can find something. We need to put like a prequel memes for any. They work for every occasion, so
Also, hashtag planning on the podcast. Take a shot.
That's not a story a Jedi would tell you.
Yeah,
something like that. Anyway, into spoilers. So like, okay, the brothers are. Do it. The brothers are the Senate. So the brothers are like not technically related, right?
No.
And okay, so what's the deal with it? What's the deal there? Like that's one thing I'm fuzzy on.
Shouma is not.
He's the blue-haired guy.
He's the blue-haired bro. He's the middle. He's the younger of the two bros.
Purple.
He is a biological child to the Takakura parents, but Himari is not. Himari was found. Shouma rescued Himari.
Oh, they both did actually. I remember on the beach, right?
Well, no, Shouma rescued Himari from this place where unneeded children go, and they don't ever reveal what that actually is.
I wonder if that's like an orphanage or human
It
trafficking.
was like something like it was something like after if you're there long enough, they just dispose of you. And Shouma.
See, that's a symbol right there. That's something that we would need to analyze.
I interpreted it
in the comments.
I interpreted it as like the foster care system or something like that, because like there are some kids who when they turn 18 and they leave foster care, they don't know what to do, and they end up just getting into some
it's not
bad
good
shit.
In any environment really. You
No,
never want to go into
it really
an orphanage,
isn't.
no matter what country you're in.
Yeah, not to get too much into that, but that's Shouma rescues her from it by sharing.
I think that's
app.
like the surface level thing, right? So
Yeah.
like the lost children. That's kind of like a Peter Pan reference.
Mm-hmm. He shares an apple with her, and
that's the fruit of fate.
The fruit of fate,
which has the red. Well, and the apple peels conveniently to make the red strand of fate, or the thread of fate that like
the
Japan.
Threads of Fate, yeah.
Yeah, the threads of fate. Japan really believes in that. That was in Your Name, right? That was in the.
It was also in Kill.
It
was also in Kill la Kill.
Yeah, I mean it's in life fibers and everything. It's in like a lot of Japanese stories. So
that same apple actually, in the first episode, there are two kids walking by the main character's house. They're like 5 or 6 years old kids, and they're playing with this apple. And they're like, "Oh, did you know the apple is the universe? And it connects everything together. And this apple's connected to this and that." And you see Shouma hand that apple to Himari when he rescues her. So she's actually not like their biological sister, but the Takakura's parents, so Kanba and Shouma Takakura, were involved in some crime. And all the characters that are being introduced throughout this anime as you're watching it are all connected with each other, and some of them to this crime. The crime was their parents were involved in the sarin subway gas attack. Now, I don't want to get too much into that. You probably already know what it is. But if you don't know what that is...
you can look at Wikipedia. It's like a terrorist attack that took place on the Japanese subway system, 1995.
Yeah.
Which is why the number 95 is flashing.
Yes. March 20th.
And apparently the gas attacks were not like as heavy of an influence on Evangelion as they were here, which is at least according to some people who've looked it up.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we keep drawing Evangelion references. I mean, Ikuhara and Ano knew each other, so I don't know how close they were, but they at least were friends for a time, right? So, and the anime industry is, especially back then, is pretty insular. Like a lot of the big names know each other.
And also
work together and everything.
Also, Ikuharu and Ano both have kind of that same style of taking influences from outside things that are not anime related or entertainment related. So they both kind of have that same style of...
They mix like real world events with Anime News Network had a great article that explained it really well.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can find that quote. Yeah, they combine real-world events with symbolism and psychological elements. I think I mentioned that earlier.
Maybe Ano's was in Ano's case, maybe more personal, but yeah, they both kind of draw influences from things that are outside of their medium, more so than other directors.
Well, a little bit of both,
yeah, a little bit of both.
Evangelion had a lot of anime references, like Ideon and what was the other one?
It had a lot of
Gundam.
It had a lot of Tokusatsu and Kaiju.
Save it for the Ava podcast.
Save it for the Ava podcast when it comes out on Netflix.
Yeah.
But that gas attack really happened. It was done by the cult Amshin Rikyo, and a bunch of people got injured. Some died. Just look it up. But
yeah, it really kind of scared Japan. It's like, look at the vulnerabilities in our system, and then like, wait, why did this happen? Why did people even want to do it?
Yeah.
So that was kind of a big deal, right?
Yeah,
I guess that's true of any terrorist attack if you think about it, but
right. So
especially for Japan, which is very peaceful.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. That's why it was scary, right? And that's why, like, you heard Nick mention earlier, like, later it gets pretty dark, it starts going a certain way. And it's because Ikuhara, he kind of wove in this story into, or he wove that real life event into his story. The whole reason why Ringo, so this diary, as Nick said earlier, it kind of is it kind of foretells events. And at first, this diary they think that the diary is the Penguindrum, and then the diary is revealed to kind of foretell events. So first you think it's the thing that tells the future, like, this is a diary from the future, and someone's telling the fucking future right now. So Ringo,
it's the Mirai Nikki.
So Ringo's older sister Momoka was dating Tabuki, who was their teacher in high school. And she feels like because her sister's gone, she has to play out the events in the diary and become a replacement for her sister, for her family to approve of her. because her parents always favored Momoka over her. And that's a big part of it. Later though, as Nick, I think Nick was about to mention, the diary is revealed to have the power to change fate. So you can change stuff with it. It doesn't just tell the future. Oh man, I'm trying to remember every detail.
Oh man, dude, I'm reading this article that we linked. It's like blown my mind now.
I know, right? It's me and Nick did a lot of research for this because we wanted to be able to delve into the themes and the details.
We found a lot of articles and skimmed them. I know Sam did more than I did.
I read
We'll
them.
link in the show notes. Yeah, Sam, you did a lot more than I did, but we'll link in the show notes the articles we used.
Most of these articles I skimmed. This one though,
the Artifice. Are you on the Artifice one?
That one I read. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, I finally understand. So throughout Penguindrum, the background characters are all just like blank white stick figures, basically.
Which is like, you see that in episode 1, and you're wondering why they do that too. It's like,
you're wondering, oh, is it like a Monogatari thing, or they just don't want to animate them? What does it mean? Apparently, it's those people are just like these faceless nobodies that were shunned by, society that basically didn't succeed in the way that they wanted. So, and the child broiler, which was like they saved the Himari from being a lost child, like that was kind of what created that.
Yeah.
So even those like background people, like there's a reason for that. I'm like, oh shit, that blows my mind.
Right.
Yeah, there's like a lot to delve into here.
There is not one thing in this show that doesn't mean nothing. Like it just.
Yeah, and I don't want to get way too deep on it. Like we're not gonna unravel every single mystery on the pod because we need another hour and I'd have to rewatch it. But like. Were you going to finish your thought on the earlier?
Oh, I was just going to say that the Penguindrum, I just wanted to explain the ending. I don't want to explain it, but I want to mention it because that is the part that made me went from thinking the show was just okay to going, holy crap, the show is actually fucking really cool. On some Kingdom Hearts shit though, for real, like it turns out that Momoko, Ringo's older sister, her soul split into two after sanitation was like, had her in his like, in his library thing. And she was like, I don't believe the same thing as you believe. You are an asshole and you want to just watch the world burn. And I'm going to prove to you that that's not right. That's not what it is. And her soul split into two, and it split into two penguin hats. So one penguin hat is on Himari. The other one is on Mario, Masako's younger brother. And Momoko is revealed to be the Princess of Crystal, which is the thing that possesses the penguin hat. That was Momoko the whole time. And the Penguindrum is revealed to be the Fruit of Fate, which is the apple. And Kanba and Shouma at the end, to save Himari and to save everybody, and to save, to stop Kanba from committing another terrorist attack with the Kiga group, they sacrifice their lives and their existence on some Madoka Magica shit. And then the world resets, and they were never real. Himari grows up by herself, I think. And there's two kids walking outside of Himari's house talking about the fruit, going, oh yeah, it's the universe and everything connected to it, just like in episode 1. So it's like, oh shit, mind was blown. Now I will say this too, just like Nick said earlier, cards on the table, this is definitely a show that I want to rewatch, because now that I have read the stuff I read doing the research with Nick, like, it'll be cool to do a rewatch and catch everything again, you know what I mean? At the same time, I don't know if I've watched a show like this in a long time where it's made me do this much research. And that's awesome, because when you have a piece of art that's going to bring that kind of discussion out, whether it's on this podcast or whether it's with you guys on Discord, or if it's just me and Nick at Burger King getting fat talking about it. And not that I eat Burger King anymore, I actually
Give me
don't.
that double chi.
Dude, let me get that dub chi and we'll talk about Penguindrum right quick. But like, no, for real, your girl's so fat. I can't even eat Burger King anymore. Like, I can't even finish a regular cheeseburger. But like, Dude, like me and Nick were actually getting frustrated last night talking about it. And
well, yeah. Oh, go ahead.
well, no, I was just saying there was
interrupted.
so much to gather, and we were doing. It was really, but I had a lot of fun looking back on it, and seeing, like, hearing Nick get excited about it right now, reading what he's reading. That's what makes a good show, for sure. And I'm gonna tell you right now, like, without even getting into, like, I know we're gonna get into the final thoughts in a minute here, but I'm telling you right now, this is probably going in my top 50. Like, honestly, there's so many themes that I wanna catch them all again. I wanna watch it again and catch them all.
Got to catch all the penguins, just like Pokemon. Another reference. No, I'm just kidding.
Reference again.
Have you noticed how the apple looks like a Pokeball?
You ever notice
Symbolism.
yeah, symbolism, dude. Shout out to Pokemon. But, like, oh man, there's.
We can jump into the final thoughts. Might as well, since we're getting there.
I think I'm with you know what, dude? God, I can't even talk. Like, for real, I can't even really explain it.
Cue the music.
Cue the music.
Okay, so Penguindrum, like Sam was saying, is a very complex show. There's a lot to delve into. It's like a more fun to watch Concrete Revolution, where you have, like, all these themes. But with Concrete Revolution, I like to make this comparison because that show had a lot that you needed to know, like a lot of background info that you needed to know, right? But it was too frenetic in its pacing. And Penguindrum is like, it stops just short of that, I would say. It's not quite as confusing. But at the same time, for my experience and for a lot of people, Penguindrum is going to be a little bit tough to watch on the first go, right?
Yeah,
And
I agree.
you have to pay attention. Like I said, you have to have your eyes on it. You can't be playing on your phone while you're watching it, right? So that's a little bit of a knock against it, or a knock for it, depending on your perspective.
It definitely
So,
was a
like,
knock against it for me at the beginning. But yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and I would say it's a slight knock against it in a way, because if you have to almost treat the show like a scholar, then it takes a little bit away from the emotional experience and, like, the connection to the characters and the themes.
In your, like, initial run through of it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, on the first run. Now, on subsequent ones, you'll gain more of that, but that was part of why I had trouble recalling a few of the things. There was just so much that happened, and
me too. Yeah.
so much going on the screen the whole time that it did take away a little bit from that initial enjoyment. So I can't give this, like, a perfect score. I can't put it in my top tier, at least not yet. I don't think I ever will, just because it's just a tiny bit too much at times.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that, because, like I said too, when you're watching the beginning, like with the first 5 or 6 episodes, that's like they're introducing characters. It's a little overwhelming. There's a lot of exposition between like just 2 characters just having one conversation. It's just like, okay, what are you even talking about? Like, what are you saying? But yeah.
Let's see, another thing. So the directing itself, I think it was pretty good, right? But it wasn't, like, I think it was more a case of the backgrounds were, like, particularly interesting and symbolic, and there's a lot of, like, repetitive imagery that Ikuhara likes to use in all of his shows. He does a lot of repetition, so that you're getting these ideas jammed into you,
like the survival strategy meetings and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, well, not just the transformation, but, like, the train, when they're, like, walking down streets and hallways, you have, like, these weird patterns everywhere and stuff like that. I still think that the directing could have been more creative at times, like different camera angles and stuff. Maybe I'm just, like, a sucker for all that. So, but, like, you think of Studio Shaft, like, they just go nuts with it. That's what I love. Like, that's what I'm rooting for, and once we do our decade list, there's going to be a lot of Shaft shows on there.
I see you.
That and, like, Evangelion, where they have, like, just different carefully positioned characters in the shot, and, like, each shot, And Penguindrum felt a little bit. It's like they got most of the way there, but it wasn't quite, perfect for my taste.
Okay. Yeah, I would say I would agree with that. That's probably how I would.
And then the soundtrack,
yeah,
and the soundtrack was really good. But I don't think they utilized it, like, as perfectly as they could have. compared to other shows. Like
there were some scenes like in the intense moments, like where the music was like.
Yeah. I mean, there's some really great scenes too.
But there was also some parts in the intense scenes where there was like no music at all, and it was kind of.
Well, sometimes that's
awkward.
what you want, though. Yeah, sometimes it is good to have silence. You need to have a variety of it.
Sure.
And I know a lot of like American companies are guilty of injecting sound into like Ghibli movies or what have you when they release to America because they're like Americans can't handle silence. Blah. You know? But like that's a big thing, for a lot of Japanese works if they're trying to let the scene like settle. So I don't know. I just felt like the soundtrack could have been implemented into the show like a tiny bit better. Maybe I'm just nitpicking on that. That's not a big one. So yeah, it sounds like I'm complaining a lot, but yeah, it is a really good show and something I have to rewatch. And I think I'm gonna bump, like once I watch the show again, I'll probably bump up my score. So I don't even want to give it like an official score or anything or a grade right now because I feel like I'm not giving it a fair shot. but I think it'll make my decade list. I think it'll be on there somewhere.
I think I agree with you. I don't know if my score will change too much after rewatching it. If I do rewatch it again before, maybe I'll just watch like where I know where the turning points are, and maybe just do a little more research. But
well, then you're really gonna bump it up. I'm only gonna watch the good parts.
Yeah, I'm only gonna watch the good parts. This is because there was one time when I was watching it where I had a thought where I was like, I wonder if this could have been better if it was just like 12 or 13 eps. But then when you start like getting all the details,
no, I think it needed most of the episodes.
Later on, when I got to like episode 13, 14, 15, and all of them, I would, the halfway point, I'm just like, okay, never mind. Yeah, you kind of need all this. But I think I have the same analysis. I mean, I really just love how, like, I love the continuing conversation of anything art related, whether it's a painting or a TV show, or a movie. And it's just like, you can talk about it for years. You can talk about it like as much as me and Nick tried to find, and we found a lot. This is almost a show like Nick mentioned earlier, like with Utena, like there's these whole theses on Utena, like I would not be surprised if there was whole like essays written about this show for some crazy college course, but I'd probably have the same analysis.
Yeah, and one thing I didn't mention, this is a big one actually, is I didn't connect directly enough with the characters with most of them.
Yeah,
because
I didn't either.
It's weird. I'm trying to figure out why.
Because the whole show is like in another world, man. Like you don't even know. It
I think
it takes
it's
place
just because there's like a lot of like ideas.
Yeah,
but
like
it's
it
not
takes
enough.
place in Tokyo, but there's like this otherworldly shit in it.
It doesn't zoom in enough on each character. Like you don't get in their head enough, if that makes sense. Like I'm thinking of.
I just wonder if that's because you're supposed to focus on the connection between all of them and not so much.
Yeah, this is more of like a symbolic show than a character show, I think. Although, I mean, you care about the characters, to a certain extent, but not like fully. Not like I know you don't like Your Lie in April, but like that's one example where you're really in their head, right? And you feel for the character. You're like, oh man, this is me,
Right.
This show didn't feel like that as much. It felt like I was on the outside in. And it felt like the other thing too is like, this is a complaint I bring against like a lot of romance shows, where it's like the character only has one motivation and they're not trying to do other things with their life. They're like, oh, I'm trying to save this person. Oh, I'm trying to be in love with this person. But it's like, well, what else are you doing? Like Scum's Wish. That's what I brought up with that.
What else are you doing?
Like remember Scum's Wish, right? Like all the characters ever thought about was who they're dating or whatever. And it's like, wait, what else are they doing with their life? They don't feel rounded, right? But Your Lie in April, it's like, dude, that dude is playing the piano.
Fucking Nick is like watching Scum. She's like, God, get a hobby. God.
Yeah, God, what are you doing? And that's like, it sounds like a nitpick. It is, but like to me, it kind of matters. Like I want a character that's really rounded. It's like they have like a whole, ethos and goals that they're trying to achieve beyond like the basic, high level, like beyond like the really threatening ones. Like even Galleon again, it's like there's so many things swirling through each character's head. It's like they're trying to pilot the robots and they're trying to save the world and they're trying to get approval from their friends and family and everything. so you have like an outer, you have like an outside threat and an inside threat at the same time. And this one, it felt like there was just one of those,
Right. The threat was everything. Like, it was fucking... Like,
it was mostly like inside. There wasn't really like an outer...
Yeah.
It didn't feel like it as much. And they didn't have like... I don't know. That's just me kind of nitpicking like what I want in a perfect show, Or not perfect, but like top tier.
Yeah.
So this one for me, even on a rewatch, I don't think I'm gonna put it in my top tier, but I think I'll bump it up,
Yep. I probably have the same analysis, hearing what you're saying. That being said, I probably give it like a B minus.
B minus. Not even I gave it a B minus.
Maybe a B. It'd probably bump it up to a B plus if I rewatch it.
Yeah, that's like, on my first rewatch or on my first watch, it was a B, but like I didn't give it a fair shake, so I don't feel right giving it a B. But like, I mean, if I watched it again, it'd probably be a B plus or A minus type of thing. Yeah,
I like.
It's not. In my opinion, it's not as good as Utena. Utena is still Ikuhara's best work, in my personal opinion.
Okay.
Although Utena is also hard to watch.
Right. I think a lot of people...
Ikuhara doesn't make it easy on you.
I think a lot of Ikuhara fans have said the same thing. There was a couple forum posts I saw where people had said that they liked this better than Utena. Maybe it's because they didn't grow up with
the art
Utena.
style. Well,
Yeah.
part of it's the art style, too. It's like JC Staff, I think, did Utena. And JC Staff never makes good-looking shows. As much... Like, the character designs in Utena are great, but... Yeah, and part of Utena too is like it did get a little repetitive, like even overly repetitive for Ikuhara, like because it was a 39 episode show, and it's like holy shit, like some of them felt, but at the same time, I get why he did it, but it just felt like a lot. But the movie for Utena basically makes it all worth it. So, you watch the TV series, which is great, and then the movie, which makes it even better. So, yeah, I don't know. I think Utena is number 1, Penguindrum 2. And then we'll see on Saranzamai, I can't pronounce it, the new one, the Booty Juice show with like the gay boys and stuff.
Spring season, here we go. This is like perfect to do Penguindrum right now because spring season. When we get to that new show coming out. Yeah. So,
and then Yuri Kuma it's probably like his simplest work, but it was enjoyable for what it was too. So.
Yeah, because Yurikuma was based on a manga already, right? It was based on something else already. It wasn't like an original, right?
I'm not 100% sure on that. You might be right.
But there you go. Freaking Mawaru Penguindrum. I was about to say Silver Penguindrum again. Spinning
God
Penguindrum.
Damn it, son.
Mawaru Penguindrum. You know what? Give it a watch. It'll
probably make our decade list,
I think a lot of the things that we said, Danny had actually wrote. I didn't even say that at the beginning. Danny's.
Oh yeah, Danny wrote her thoughts because she wasn't able to make it. She has like finals going on.
We kind of said a lot of her thoughts already, though, just like in our own thoughts. She had the same analysis, I think.
Well, we read and absorbed her thoughts. There you go.
Yeah. So
we stole from Danny.
she had already seen it before me and Nick had, but yeah, she's in finals mode right now. So. Shout out to Danny, but like, just give it a watch. It's one of those things.
It's the one
dub
like, that Danny doesn't like.
It's one of those things where you order fugu at a sushi bar, and you're afraid to try it. And I'm sitting across the table for you, going, "Just give it a shot." Like I don't fucking know. Just try it. Let me know. But I think I'm gonna stick with that grade until I get a potential chance to rewatch, just like Nick. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, my decade list is morphing like every week. I know I started watching... Well, I won't say what show it was, but Sam knows what it was. I started watching a show, and I'm like... After episode 1, I'm like, oh, this is on the list.
Yeah.
I'm halfway through, and it's like halfway up my list already.
Yeah, dude. That show's great. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, 'cause I don't want to spoil it. We need to leave some suspense.
Leave some suspense there, dude.
But yeah, Penguindrum is like hanging on the bottom right now of the list, but it's still on the list. Like if you think about it, there's roughly like 2,000 shows that came out this decade, or 1,000 shows like worth checking out at least.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that's in the top 0.5%. Like that's really good. So
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. So there you go. Watch Penguindrum. Let us know what you think. Hope you're enjoying these decade spotlights. I'm enjoying them. I'm enjoying them quite a bit now, for sure. You know, at first I was a little overwhelmed by them, but we're doing our best to make sure that by the time we get to that episode, the decade spotlight episode, you know, we have all of these under the belt. And I had never seen Penguindrum before, and it had been recommended to me by many friends in the past, so I'm glad I watched it, and hopefully get another rewatch. That being said, I've been Sam. That's been Neon Genesis, Nick Vangelion, and this has been the Anime Summit Podcast. Break out the bug spray.